Ellequii and my Buckskin family. Your followers have set you a challenge. You have been given a set of questions each to ask the other. But on top of the question is a shot of alcohol. You need to drink it first before getting hold of the question. To decide who goes first, we will flip a coin. Heads for Ellie, tails for Sarah. Sarah, you must go first.
To the right, let's go. So, oh, that was snaps. That was all right. That was a nice start. That was a nice start. I agree with that one.
Not too bad.
Okay, and the first question was, what has been your proudest equestrian achievement?
When I originally bought my pony Magic, my little grey, I bought him to sell on as a child's pony, and then I never sold him because I'm pathetic. So 6 years later, he's still mine. But he's out on loan to a little girl, and the first time I saw her riding him was probably my proudest moment, because it was just like everything I'd worked towards, he was finally actually doing. And it was just really, really sweet. And I was like, I could literally burst.
I think
what about you?
Is when I was a RGA coach, we saw like a lot of kids that were like non-verbal or petrified of the horses, and then just getting them to sit on the horse, not even doing anything, was like massive achievement. And then some of them went on to compete at like national level. So you saw like these kids that never spoke to us, and then all of a sudden they're competing for our group in like a massive national competition. So yeah, I think that's for me.
That sounds amazing. I'm scared. Right, we'll go with this one. Okay. Next question is, what is one piece of advice you were given that has stuck with you?
I think for me, it was like the simplest piece of advice that I've always remembered and tried to remember is don't stress. That's something that I've kind of remembered, just that chilled, like, just don't stress about it.
Mine's probably, I was having a lesson with my instructor and I kept saying, I can't do it, I can't do it. And it was like every time after we'd already done it. And she was like, your pony's doing it, you're doing it. Don't like stop panicking. She was like, if you're doing it right, then your pony is going to do it, which it is doing. It doesn't matter what you look like, you've done it. That's one thing. If my pony is doing what I want it to do, then I can't be doing that bad.
I'm gonna go for this one. It's red one. Why not?
Oh God.
It smells like strawberry.
Can't be that bad then.
Oh, that's gin. Oh, I went snaps to gin. Okay. The question underneath is if you could groom for someone for a day, who would it be?
Mine would probably be Carl Hester, because I very much like the way he keeps his horses as well. Like, you see a lot of big riders and competitors who don't ever turn their horses out and they don't let them be horses, they're just machines. And I think Carl's way of keeping his horses, well, it definitely shows in the results that they get. So I think I'd definitely groom for him, because I feel like you could learn a lot from him as well.
I think I'm going to have to go for the obvious answer. I think William Foxpit. Everyone wants to go on William Foxpit's yard, really. Just to nose ram. Ooh.
I'm just going to...
You go for it.
Yum.
Oh, is it vodka?
That is tequila.
Oh! On question 2.
They don't understand the pain I've just gone through. What would be one piece of advice you would give someone wanting to start horse riding?
Don't expect the world overnight. It's kind of like the whole Rome wasn't built in a day. I guess you'll always learn it's not something you're going to have overnight.
I don't know if it sounds daft, but when you first start going for lessons, go to a few different schools. Yeah. Don't just stick to one in the beginning, because if you stick to one for a year and you find that you don't actually enjoy it that much, like, you could have learned a lot more somewhere else. I found when I first started learning, I stuck to the same school for like years and years and years. And then it sort of got to a point where I realized everyone else seemed to be progressing a lot faster. And then as soon as I sort of switched schools, I realized then that the facilities in the new school were actually a lot better, and the instructors were more qualified, and like, you know, just things like that. And the atmosphere was a lot better as well. People were a lot friendlier. I'll pray for you.
Oh yeah, it was Malibu. Oh no,
My drink of choice.
What has been the best piece of advice you've ever been given when buying a horse?
Don't buy the first one you see. Which is exactly what I did.
I mean,
because yeah, you might fall into the pitfall of just falling in love with that one without viewing others which might be more suitable for you. I know that is what happened with me.
I think mine would be like, do your research on the person and sort of use your Facebook groups to ask, like, oh, I want to buy a horse off this person. Has anyone ever come across her? Because I think if you're a genuine seller, you won't mind people kind of asking around after you, because you shouldn't have anything to hide.
My turn again, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to get the tequilas out of the way.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, he does. It's fine. I don't know what all the fuss is about. What's your scariest equestrian experience?
I'd had Magic probably a couple of months, and we were starting to train her to hack out by herself, and she was doing really well. And then out of nowhere, she decided to just throw me in the ditch, and then just ran out in front of this Royal Mail van. So every time I ride past a Royal Mail van, I'm like, oh, flashback.
I was riding Mouse, who is unridden. It was the second time I'd sat on her successfully once the day before. So this was the second day, and I was like, okay, we walked around yesterday, she was fine. And I got on her, and I think a helicopter flew over, and she just took off round the sand school, and she went round about 7 or 8 times, and I managed to stay on. And then she just like dipped her shoulder and started bronking, and I came off and landed like directly on the top of my head.
Oh
no, I landed on my shoulder that time, and then I was like, right, okay, calm her down, bring her back, got back on her, and then she went off again, around, started bronking, and then the second time I came off, I landed directly onto my head.
Ooh.
And like sort of went over onto my neck, and by that point I was like, I'll just lunge. And I can remember stood there lunging her, and I just went really faint, and then I ended up just sitting on the floor, and my friend was like, oh god. And I can remember feeling really, really woozy, and I was like, I've done it this time. I'm dead. But yeah, that was probably the scariest, just like the complete no control whatsoever. I literally couldn't do anything to stop her. I was just like a passenger.
Just might go again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, let's go for this one. What advice would you give someone who's receiving hate online about their riding?
My main piece of advice for anyone who's receiving hate, and myself included, is do not listen to their opinion if you are not paying them. If they are hating on your riding and you are not paying them to be your instructor, do not give them the time of day whatsoever. That's the main piece of advice. That's literally what I live by as well. Like anytime I get a hate comment on my riding, I'm just like, well, you're not my instructor, so I don't care.
Like if you receive a hateful comment, that says more about them than it says about you. Oh, it's you next, isn't it?
It was that time.
Oh no. Get it down.
Okay. I'm gonna open it ready so that I have something to distract me with.
Don't think about it, just drink it and don't think about it.
Ooh. Okay.
It's like you've had experience of this before.
What do you mean? If you could change one thing about the equestrian world, what would you do?
I think I'd make accessibility. I know a lot of people that are riding at badminton grassroots, and they're trying their hardest to get there, but they lack the accessibility to get there, and they lack the funding in the sense of like access to trainers, access to facilities as well. Like you probably know, like South Wales, we don't really have anything. Probably
Yeah.
the most good facility to us is Hartbury.
Yeah.
Ashley Wells is another one that's got really good access, and sort of good training facilities. And a lot of people find they just don't have the access to those places, and therefore they don't have a sort of a hope in hell to get sort of the next level up.
You see a lot of people like competing locally as well, and you look at them and you think, wow, like you could go really far, but you like there just isn't the opportunities as such.
Yeah, what about yours?
I'm trying, just had to reread the question to jog my memory because 3 tequilas in and I'm gone. Mine would probably be, I don't know if this sounds stupid, but the stigma like revolving around like gypsy cobs, etc. This sounds really stupid and it probably sounds like really minuscule, but like I have met like so many people who have like turned their nose up at a gypsy cob because they're like, oh, it's a gypsy cob, when it's like that is exactly what you need. They are like amazing. And also this comes into the category of, at shows, I've seen so many judges mark down horses just because they're coloured or just because they're gypsy cobs. It might seem like a small thing to like say that I'd change, but like I just can't believe, and the amount of like gypsy cobs that there are that are really well schooled and really talented horses that will be perfect confidence givers and things, and people will literally turn their nose up at them just because of what they are.
Right, let's go for it.
Get it down, you.
What is the worst thing about the equestrian world?
Well,
where do we start?
Toxicity online.
Yeah.
Is one of them. Secondly, I'm going to go with view that jobs in the equine industry aren't a real thing and that they don't exist and that is not a real career choice. Thirdly, I'd like to say the prices of things in terms of how accessible it is for riding lessons in general. I understand that keeping horses is very costly and obviously you have to pay staff as well, and it's businesses at the end of the day, you have to make money. But sometimes I think like £80 for an hour lesson is a little bit excessive. Like you don't need to charge that much, and not everyone can afford that.
I think that probably the worst for me, actually, people will rally each other's up just to support their cause, to kind of make other people feel bad. And I think that even happens at top level. If you think, we're going back a few years when Oliver Townsend was done for excessive whipping at badminton, and then literally a year after, everyone was like, he's going to win the competition. But like a year previous, people were like, he's the scum of the earth, he hit his horse excessively. And then those same people, literally 12 months later, were like, he's going to win, he's amazing, he's the best rider ever. Everyone needs to join each other's cause to be part of the gang.
Definitely, people are definitely sheep.
Yes, yeah, the sheep mentality.
Right, okay. Right, which group of horse riders has the toughest time?
I think two. I think two equally. So yeah, I think like plus size riders, people just judge them, and it makes me laugh because some of their positions are far better than most people I see riding. And beginners as well. Equally, I got two on the top because I know like people are so cutthroat that a beginner, you can't be a beginner anymore. You're expected to ride like Carl Hester by day 2, and yeah, the amount of hate they get for trying to learn and trying their best. And you see the comments going, well, you should be able to, you should know how to 2 points, and they're saying, well, this is like my second time jumping, and yeah, they just get absolutely annihilated. You can't teach someone to jump unless you put them in front of a jump.
Yeah, those are probably, I agree with you, those are probably my top 2 as well. I think that just shows how much you see those groups getting hated on. I think a lot of their hate is completely unnecessary. I made a video the other day actually about a girl was getting a lot of hate. She was cantering round and everyone was saying, oh well, she shouldn't be cantering, And it's like, well, how did you learn to canter? You didn't canter perfectly to begin with. Like, you have to do it to be able to learn how to do it. Otherwise, you will never learn. Yeah. So, and I think if anything, like, people should be allowed to share their riding journeys online and not have to worry about being absolutely chastised for it, or any mistakes, or not even mistakes, learning steps that they make.
Oh God, I forgot there was a question underneath as well.
Maybe that'll distract you from the taste.
One lesson owning a horse has taught you.
Don't drink when you have to muck out your horse the next day. On a more serious note, I genuinely do think responsibility has been the biggest lesson horses have taught me, because when I was younger, I had to sacrifice a lot to keep my horses. It was, well, not known to my mother, but I bought a pony behind her back, which was magic, and she would give me lunch money, and I would literally buy the cheapest thing for lunch and save my lunch money up through the winters when I wasn't working to be able to buy him hay at the end of the week. So which obviously is not a very wise idea, but it was like every weekend, if my friends and all were going out to house parties and things, I'd be having to stay in to go look after him. And if I did go, I would have to leave the fun very early to go and look after him. So yeah, I think it teaches you a great deal of responsibility.
I think as well it's taught me like the privilege side of it. It is a privilege to own horses, and like I get when I do that, you're so lucky to have a horse, and then I like take the mick out of it, and the amount of people that like, oh, you're so privileged to have a horse. And I think we all know that you've got to have a deep sense of humor to get you through, especially get you through the winter.
Does this mean I have to take another shot?
Yeah, it's your go.
Right. What is one thing that every person could do to make the equestrian world a better place?
Butt out of other people's business and concentrate on your own horse and your own riding.
Be supportive no matter what.
Yeah.
If you see a beginner, your first thought should be, good on them, they're learning, not, oh, look, they haven't got their rising trot down yet. So mine would be to make everyone switch their negative thoughts into positivity. I find it very detrimental as well when someone will give me advice if I haven't asked for it, because a lot of the time it's something that I know that I need to work on, and someone pointing it out isn't helping the situation at all. It's just enhancing my insecurities about it, if anything.
Right, well, Lindsay, I got two nice ones. Well, hopefully two nice ones left.
Yeah.
Name one horse who taught you a valuable lesson.
Fryn definitely taught me respect of your horse, because he would literally, if you got on him and you demanded of him, he would bury you without second thought. You couldn't get on and be like, right, let's go straight away. He would literally put you in the ground if you attempted that, and he has done, and he continues to remind me to this day, if I step out of line, he's guaranteed to be the one to put me back in line at the grand old age of 25. He still does it. You have to remember you're a team, and you're not, whilst you are in control, you're not in charge. You both have to agree. Sometimes it's agree to disagree, but you have to work together to be able to overcome any situation that's put in front of you. So in order for that to happen, you both have to respect each other. So yeah, I will go with that, with a friend.
Magic taught me to be a sympathetic rider, to listen more and ask less. I think is probably one thing a very, very valuable lesson she taught me.
Horses are definitely our greatest teachers. They will definitely teach you more than any instructor or anyone ever will, and I'm a firm believer in that. Okay. Name one person who has inspired / helped you.
My friend sort of put a piece of paper across the table and was like, go and have a lesson with this guy, he's really good. She'd had a lesson with him. I was like, okay, not really knowing who he was. He was actually an Irish eventer, John C. Evans. And so before my lessons, I realised, I sort of did a bit of research, and he'd had like a bad accident in 2018. He was sort of coming back. But yeah, I think like his journey kind of inspired me, because he fell off just before I had my fall. You see these guys riding for the world and you're like, oh my God, they're amazing. But the reality is they still fall off just as much as we do, and they can still do just as much as damage as we can. So when I had lessons with him, he sort of really helped me quite a lot. I kind of went to him and said, look, this is what I'm having problems with. I've fallen off. My confidence has been knocked. Physically, I've been knocked, and I don't know where to start. It kind of made me realise over 2 days that like I wasn't achieving because I wasn't noticing the achievements. So I was noticing everything that was going wrong, but not the things that were going right. He's definitely inspired me in the way that he got back and came back fighting. I think that his story gives a lot of hope to a lot of riders. Yeah, I did a virtual lesson with him, and he sort of got me started with Goldie as well. I kind of messaged him when I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not used to a horse that just is so chilled out. Please help. He kicks me up the ass. I had a mental breakdown when he asked me to go into canter, and then I just having a bad day, and yeah, he kicked me up the ass, got me into canter, and yeah, so I was unstoppable after that.
Probably my like biggest inspiration then is the lady who actually, she runs the riding school, who have My Pony Magic on loan. Her name's Sue, and she is honestly just the most knowledgeable and just the kindest person I think I've ever met. She's helped me so much with my confidence, and just through like not even like lessons, just speaking like in general conversation. And she's probably the person who I've spoken to and thought, yes, like this is it, this is where I'm happy to be. Like I would like to pursue a career in horses because of her and because of what she's done and what she's built. Like she is so knowledgeable, but she's never, oh well, I know this. She's very casual about like everything she says and everything she teaches you. But yeah, she's just like a really amazing person as well. So it would definitely be her. I would say she's definitely my biggest inspiration in the horse world. A lot of kids, they tend to reach out for celebrities and things like that, and people who are unreachable, but really they need to look at who's a bit closer to home, like the managers of the riding schools, the riding instructors, because at the end of the day, those are the kind of people that will be helping them directly.
We're on the home stretch.
One left.
One last one. Well, I'm not just mad, I'm just going to go for it. Name one horse who has helped you.
Mine is going to be, it's a very short partnership, as I haven't been riding him or been around him for very long, but mine's Rumble. It's unbelievable how much he has helped my confidence, and considering he is literally just off the track, has had absolutely no retraining whatsoever. You would think that is probably like as far from a confidence giver as you could imagine. He's made me believe in my abilities again. There's been a long stretch where I thought I'm not a good enough rider. If he did anything, I wouldn't be able to sit it. The first time I hacked him out, it sounds stupid because yeah, he was being a bit naughty. Like he was sort of going down the road sideways and he was bucking out and, trying to canter down the road. And I can remember I was just sat there and I was just like, well, you know what, actually, I can handle this. I can deal with it. It's completely fine. Like, I'm okay with this. And for years, I've just thought I would never be able to handle something like that. Suddenly, I've been presented with this horse who's not done anything other than be a racehorse. And he's strangely given me so much more confidence than any horses have in so long.
Yeah, I think my one horse is got to be Goldie, but he's very brave, and like I'm going out hacking, and I'm so used to riding magic where you're like, right, that leaf there is a different shade to the other greens, and that might just tip us over the edge. Yeah, it's nice to be back in the position of I can enjoy it again. Like I always enjoyed riding magic, but it was a different enjoyment. There was always that edge of what could happen. Whereas with Goldie, it's the excitement that I know I'm going to get back in one piece. Brought my confidence back quite a lot.
The last shot.
You're going to see us out.
Right. Let's go. Who are your favourite fellow inspiring TikTokers?
I'm going to go back to probably the first person I saw on TikTok, which was Krista Dillon.
Yeah.
Krista's like quite real. She just says it like, and you know, if you don't like it, off you go. If you do like it, the door is open for you.
I'm trying to think because I have a TikTok obsession. Like I've got a problem. I can remember freaking out when you followed me. I struggle to think of who else, because like a lot of people who I used to watch as well, like I speak to a lot of them now as well. I have conversations with on a daily basis, again, like you, Jordan, I think her name's Spotted Bay Productions over on TikTok, and Liz, who's Blue Star Equestrian. These are all people that I was like, I loved the videos and I loved the content. I loved what they were about as well. You three would probably be like my top people who I enjoy watching.
I feel like for old time's sake, I need to mention the Scottish farmer. I thought we were going to tag the vegan teacher.
Not
actually.
Not him.
Yeah, I remember like seeing the notification that was like he's changed his name now. That the big meat teacher has duetted your video. My heart just dropped. All my shots are done.
I don't know if your alcohol tolerance is as low as mine, but I feel steaming.
I want to go like partying now. Like I want to go to Oceania. That's the mood I'm in right now.
Okay, I think we should break up the party plans now before Boris hears about this. Before you go, is there anything you would like to say to your followers?
I'm sure we'll thank them now, but I don't think I'm going to thank them in the morning by any stretch of the imagination.
Thank you for all your questions at the start of the video.
Yeah.
However, it would have been a lot more ideal for us if you'd only left 2 questions collectively as a whole.
Yeah.
Oh God. Bye guys.
Bye.